module, you will learn about the different types of events in probability. Let's consider an experiment of throwing a die once. The sample space associated with this experiment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which of these outcomes are even numbers? They are 2, 4, and 6. This implies the outcomes that correspond to the occurrence of even numbers are 2, 4, and 6. Similarly, the outcomes that correspond to the occurrence of odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. Such outcomes are called events. Therefore, an outcome or a collection of outcomes is called an event. Let's denote the events by E and O. Here, we notice that sets E and O are the subsets of set S. In other words, any subset of a sample space is called an event. If S is a sample space, then the null set and S are the proper subsets of S. Hence, the subsets are two events in S. Let's look at an experiment where a die is rolled. Let E be an event. A number less than 3 appears. If the outcome is either 1 or 2, then we say that event E has occurred. If the outcome is other than 1 or 2, then we say that event E has not occurred. Events can be classified into sure, impossible, simple, and compound events based on the elements they have. Let's consider an experiment where a coin is tossed. In this case, the occurrence of an event of a head or tail is sure. Such events are called sure events. In general, if S is a sample space, then the whole sample space is called a sure event. In dropping a ball from a height, the event that it will hit the ground, and in throwing a die, the event of getting a number from 1 to 6 are examples of sure events. In an experiment, a die is thrown. In this case, the event of getting a number that is divisible by 7 is not possible. Such events are called impossible events. In fact, the event null set of a sample space will never happen. In general, if S is a sample space, then the event phi is called an impossible event. Some examples of impossible events are the event of selecting an apple from a bag consisting of 10 oranges, and when a ball is thrown up, the event that the ball will stay in air. Let's consider a sample space S of an experiment of rolling a die and its associated events as shown. Here, we see that each event contains only one sample point. Such events are called simple events. An event of a sample space with only one sample point is called a simple or elementary event. The number of simple events of a sample space of n sample points is n. An event that has more than one sample point is called a compound event. Let's consider the sample space of an experiment of tossing 2 coins. Events E1 and E2 associated with sample space S are shown. Both the events have more than one sample point. Therefore, the events are compound events.